Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Complainer's Corner, episode 1. So, my friends often tell me I get into these unusual situations and they act like I complain a lot about stuff. So, they told me one time, you should start a podcast about some of the weird situations you get yourself into. So, I had an episode yesterday with Advanced Auto that warranted, I believe, the first ever Complainer's Corner. So, here we go. So they always ask you, what you working on today? Well, I'm working on my 2005 F-250, replacing my AC compressor again. So I had replaced it with a part that I bought from Advanced Auto a number of years ago, and I have the receipt from that purchase, and it says right on here, lifetime warranty with related parts. So at the time, I made sure that I got every single related part that was required in order to make my lifetime warranty valid, which include the orifice tube, the power flush, PAG oil, the O-ring kit, and the accumulator. And again, I have all the receipts for all those that I kept. So the story starts out, actually 2 years ago, my compressor started leaking refrigerant, but it was a slow leak and I could add some R134A and get by for a couple months. Well, in the past 2 years, it's gotten substantially worse, so I figured it's time to go ahead and tear out the compressor, take it in and get the replacement and just be done with it. So I took it out yesterday, had my receipt, went up to my local Advanced Auto to get the warranty part. Well, they looked up the online order, because I ordered it online and picked it up at the Advanced Auto in Fort Wayne, and it's not in their system, so they can't do anything for me, even though I have the physical receipt in my hand. So went on for a couple minutes trying to talk to them, make sense, like, hey, I bought this thing, here's the receipt, what else do I need? Well, it's not in our system, we can't help you, our hands are tied, you have to call corporate. So I said, okay, I'll call corporate. At this point, it was just, I'm like, why not? So I called corporate, talked to some lady, and she proceeded to tell me, well, it's actually out of warranty. And I said, what do you mean? It says lifetime warranty. Well, it's not really a lifetime warranty, it's actually, we don't really specify it anywhere, it's not on our website, but it's basically 8 to 10 years. I'm like, okay, well, I'm still within that range. Well, yeah, but it's now you can't replace it. It's out of warranty. I'm like, it's a lifetime warranty. Doesn't lifetime mean lifetime? Nope. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to specify the years of a lifetime warranty. If it's not a lifetime warranty, like I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense. And then she proceeded to tell me that, well, she can't do anything about it. It's up to the store. So, but she can call the store on my behalf, and she can talk to them and try to convince them to let me get a replacement part for my lifetime warranty part. And I said, don't even bother. I burnt that bridge. So then I decided to call the Defiance store. I said, you know what? Maybe these people will be willing to help me. So I call them on the phone. The gentleman says, oh yeah, I can take care of that for you, no problem. Just bring your receipt in. As long as you got your receipt and you got the old compressor, we'll get it swapped out for you, no problem. Okay, I'm on my way. Just drove the half hour down to the Defiance Advanced Auto. I get there, and he pulls up his computer, tries to type in my online order number in his system. Oh, it's not in our system. I can't help you. I was like, are you kidding me? I specifically told you over the phone exactly what was happening, and they couldn't find it in the system, so I didn't want to waste my time coming down here. Sorry, I can't help you. I don't know what to do. So, at this point, I'm like, I got too much time and effort. I'm not giving up. Most people probably would, and that's probably what their goal is. So I went back home, and, oh, by the way, he told me, well, actually, since you bought this online, it's completely separate from an Advanced Auto Parts store, which I get that. Then he proceeded to tell me, by the way, you shouldn't buy parts from online because you run into situations like this. I'm like, okay, thanks, buddy. So on the way home from Defiance, I decided, you know what? I'm going to try to call the Fort Wayne store. Since that's the one where I actually bought it from, maybe they can help me. So I call them. Guy answers the phone. I explained the situation in great detail again about what's going on. I said, I got the receipt. I have the part. It says it has a lifetime warranty. Apparently it's not in the Advanced Auto system. Can you help me? Oh yeah, we can help you. You just come down here. And I said, sir, like, it's not going to be, the online order is not going to be in the system. Like, can you still process it? Absolutely. I can do a backdoor thing. Don't worry about it. You just come up here and I'll take care of it. We got one. And I'm like, and he said he had one in stock at that point, at the initial conversation, which is very I'll get to that later. So I said, sir, I'm not driving to Fort Wayne only to find out the same exact thing that I've been finding out at the 2 other stores. I'm like, can you confidently tell me that if I come down there right now with my receipt and with the defective part, you'll give me the replacement and it'll be fine? He says, oh, I just checked in my system. I can't even get that part anymore. I cannot get that part. I don't have it here, and I can't even get it. I can't order it anymore. That's actually only an online order part at this point. So he's like, yeah, you're gonna have to deal with the Advance Auto online. And at this point, I was a little frustrated because I just got lied to, because he had told me that he had one in stock, and if I looked online, they said they had one in stock at his location. So at this point, he obviously didn't want to deal with me. I'm not sure why. So I said, okay, thanks for your help. You didn't help me. So I went home and I said, I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to try the online live chat. Now, this is supposed to be the Advance Auto online. Everybody keeps telling me that they're the only ones that can help me. So I said, why not? So I log in, give them my information, and I'm chatting with the lady, and I explain the situation. It's pretty simple in my mind. I bought a part, it has a lifetime warranty. I have the receipt in my hand, and no one will replace the part. So I'll just read the conversation that I had with Advance Auto. Her name was Jada. So she started out, thanks you for contacting me, how can I help you, blah, blah, blah. I gave her my online order number, and then she said, hey, I'll be happy to look into this for you. Please provide me with your email and phone number. And I gave her that information. Then she asked, when was the order placed? Can you confirm the order number is not working? And I said, 5/3 of 16. And then she said, provide your phone number. I said, I don't know what number I was using back then. She said, okay, that's fine. How can I assist you? And I said, this order was for a part with a lifetime warranty. The part has failed, but when I go to the stores, I've been to 3, they keep telling me that they're unable to locate this order in their system. I have the receipt for the part, but they tell me since it was an online order, they have to contact the online store, whatever that means. I assume this is the online store. I have the physical receipt, and it has the online order number on it. I gave it to you already. I'm not sure what else I can possibly provide to process this. She says, I apologize for the inconvenience. And then I said, I must say it is a little frustrating. She says, I do understand it must be. Please allow me 3 to 4 minutes to investigate this for you. And then she says, do you have the store location? I said, well, the third store said they would process it anyway, even without being able to locate the online order. However, he then proceeded to tell me that he could no longer order the part. It is only available on their online store again. Even though when I go online, it says that particular store has one in stock, I'm not sure what's going on. I said the third store was store number 8435 in Fort Wayne, Indiana. And then she asked, was this an in-store or shipped to home? I said in-store. That was the store I picked up the part at. It was an online order. What's the location for the store that you picked up the item from? Again, I said 8435. Is that the store number, she asked? I said, yes. 4520 North Clinton Road, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46825. I said, I'm reading the store number directly from the receipt. Kindly allow me 3 to 4 minutes to look into this for you. I said, I'm starting to realize that there is no benefit to buying parts from a physical store. The only reason I still buy parts from physical stores is so I can process these types of issues. And then she says, what part was it? I said, if the store doesn't help or is just lazy, then I might as well just purchase parts from Rock Auto. I'm not trying to be a jerk, it's just a matter of the fact. She said, and then I said, please don't let me lose faith in physical stores. So then I gave her the part number, T58152. She says, okay, let me reach out to the store. Allow me 3 to 4 minutes. Then I said, what I don't want to do is drive 1 hour to the store. I live in Ohio. Just to be told they can't help me. I already drove to the Defiance, Ohio store because he guaranteed that he would take care of it. Then proceeded to tell me that he couldn't look up the online order and couldn't help me. Most people would have given up to this point, but I'm not most people. I'm the guy that keeps all his receipts for years. And then I said, are you able to process return? Because I honestly don't trust the store to take care of this. She says, okay, I understand that this is frustrating. I called the store, and unfortunately, there's no manager around for me to talk. And I said, I see. Or they don't want to deal with this. I said, I can take a picture of my receipt and send it to you. I noticed the receipt states, service is our best part. I'm not feeling that right now. I would think surely someone can help me. And then I said, I'm not so sure why this is so difficult. I purchased a part. Spent the extra money to get the one with the lifetime warranty, but I can't get a replacement part when it fails. And then I said, can you put me in touch with someone from the online store as I was instructed to do by the employees at the various stores? She responds, I currently working on this for you. Kindly allow me 3 to 4 minutes. And then she says, I appreciate your patience. Unfortunately, since the store manager is not currently in, you will need to reach out back tomorrow to see what can be done by the manager. And then I said, I thought he was the manager, maybe he wasn't, told me that he was unable to help because it was an online order. So I'm contacting you for assistance. She then says, you will need to contact us back tomorrow and we can contact the store and have this issue resolved immediately. And I said, I want to believe that, but with all the conflicting information that I've been given today, I'm doubtful. She says, I do understand that this is a lot, but we need to speak to the manager and he won't be in until tomorrow. And I said, and I feel like nobody's going to be able to remember this conversation and I'm going to have to explain it all over again, getting nowhere. She said, you can just let them know that you have a defective part that has a lifetime warranty and the agent will call the store. And then I said, it feels like I, the customer, am getting the runaround with the hopes that I just give up. And then I asked, what agent? She says, whenever you reach out back to us, whoever you speak will be able to assist. And I said, who do I reach out to? Can I get a name or a phone number? And then she said, you can contact, and they gave me the 800 number that everybody keeps giving me, or chat in back. And I said, here's the thing. If I do this all over again tomorrow, and the manager's out of the store again, and then I said, I honestly believe she is probably there right now. They're just saying they aren't. I said, I will likely be told that the manager is not there again anyway. And she says, the manager should be in tomorrow. I said, can you try a different store, like Defiance, Ohio, and see if there's a manager there? That would be more convenient for me anyway, since it's closer. And I even gave her the number. I said, their number is 419-782-1467. And then she says, can you provide the location for me? And I said, 1844 North Clinton Street, Defiance, Ohio, 43512. She says, thank you for providing me with your information. Allow me 3 to 4 minutes to investigate this for you. I said, store number 1082. Then she says, I appreciate your patience. I was able to reach out to the store, and they mentioned if they replace this part for you, that part will no longer have a warranty on it. And I said, okay. She says, or you can wait and contact us back to speak to the original store and see what they would do. And then I said, okay, please confirm my options. It sounds like the Defiance, Ohio store will give me a replacement part for my lifetime warranty part, but the replacement will not be covered anymore. She says, I did confirm this information, so you can take it to store 1082 and have it replaced, and that part will no longer be under warranty, or you can wait until tomorrow to speak to the store you got it from. I said, does store 1082 have a replacement part? I said, the Fort Wayne employee told me he couldn't order it anymore. He said it was available online only. She says, yes, but do keep in mind, if they replace it, you can no longer return if defective. I said, so are you saying the Fort Wayne employee lied when he said he could no longer order the part? That doesn't make sense to me. And then she said, I confirmed and the manager said you can replace it. And I said, do they have it in the store now? She says, yes, they have the part. This is almost over. I said, okay, can you give me the name of the person I should ask for? If I drive to the store again and they do not have the part or they refuse to give me the replacement, what do you suggest I do then? She says, I didn't catch the name of the manager there at store 1082. Confirm you can come in. I said, I will start to drive there now. I hope this works. And she says, is there anything else I can assist you with today? And I said, if I end up bringing home a replacement part, then no, I don't need any more assistance from you. And then she said, thank you for contacting Advance Auto. A survey will be sent to you shortly regarding the service I provided today. Fortunately, I never got that survey sent to me, so I'm not sure how I'm supposed to give my feedback. Unfortunately, the story does not end there. So, with this confidence that I have now gotten back into Advance Auto, I drive the 30 minutes back to the Defiance location. I show up. I say, hey, my name's Alan. I think the lady online just talked to you. He said, oh, yeah, we talked to her. We're going to go ahead and get that swapped out for you. I said, great. I said, finally. He then proceeds to tell me, I don't have that part in stock. I'm going to have to order it. And I'm like, this can't be true. She told me twice that you have it. You can't trust those people. You can't trust those online people. I don't have it here. I didn't tell her I had it here, and I can order it, but I can't get it till tomorrow morning. And I said, oh, so you can order it? I'm like, that's weird because Fort Wayne told me that they couldn't order it, but oh no, I can get it. Yep, I can get here tomorrow morning. I said, great, let's just go ahead and do that. I said, I just want this thing over with. He said, okay, it'll be here tomorrow at 7:15, and my manager comes in at 7:30. He is going to call you immediately, and then you can come get it, and everything will be taken care of. I said, okay. I said, so I'm going to get a call in the morning. I said, here's my number. This is my name. He's going to call me. Yes, absolutely, sir. He's going to call you right away. I said, great. So next day is a Saturday. I said, you know what? I'm not even going to bother to set my alarm because I'm going to get a call at 7:30. I mean, there is no doubt in my mind. I'm getting a call. It's going to be great. I'm going to drive down there, get my compressor, come home, and this nightmare will be over. Well, 9:30 rolls around. I still hadn't got a call, and I'm like, do I dare call them and even ask? So I called, and fortunately, he knew what was going on, and yes, he did confirm it. He had it right there on the shelf, and I drove down the 30 minutes again to the Defiance store. I got the compressor, and I hightailed it out the door, and I came straight home. So at the end of the day, I guess it all worked out because I got my replacement part for a defective lifetime warranty part, even though he says this no longer has a lifetime warranty.